about security and privacy from both of our key segments and our digital breakout sessions. Now let's talk about how Azure Security Center can help you as a developer prevent, detect, and respond to threats. To do that, I'd like to welcome Gilad from the Azure Security Center team to the virtual stage. Welcome, Gilad.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
No, thank you so much for joining us. So, Gilad, just let us know what you do at Microsoft on the Azure Security Center team.
Definitely. I head the product management team for Azure Security Center. I've been in the team pretty much since the get-go when we started off around 5 years ago. And today we are at a GA level and serving a lot of Azure customers and Azure workloads and protecting them.
Nice. And Azure Security Center, people might be watching this thinking, oh, that's an IT pro tool, right? That's what my operations team deal with or something like that. But what does Azure Security Center, like what is it as a rounding thing for people that aren't aware, because some developers may not be aware, and how does it apply to developers?
So indeed, Azure Security Center is a security tool that's mainly focusing on protecting workloads in Azure, protecting and keeping their security posture, and also protecting them against threats and attacks. Now, while this is very relevant for security admins, we are seeing a motion that is basically done across the entire security industry of what we call shifting security left, where we actually learn that in order to properly secure modern and cloud-native workloads, such as containers, serverless, etc., you actually need to take the security controls and shift them left through the development pipeline to the build and the deployment stages, and actually plug in security and done in those stages as well. And so as part of that motion, Security Center is starting to actually serve that and help customers implement that. One good example of that is our ability to do container image scanning, where we basically enable customers use the container infrastructure and leverage the Azure Container Registry to actually scan their container images when they're being deployed to the Azure Container Registry, and actually get the reporting and vulnerability status on their vulnerabilities at that stage.
Nice. So if I'm using containers, I can, and I'm using Azure Container Registry, I can just have them automatically scanned as soon as they hit the registry, right? If I push a new version of my container.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So I believe you've got a demo to show us exactly how this works, right?
Yes, I can definitely show you how this looks in Security Center. This is the main Security Center dashboard. And if you look at basically the main finding that Security Center generates for you as a customer is what we call recommendations. These are sets of misconfigurations and vulnerabilities in the environment that we find and alert you to fix. And as part of those, you can see the container vulnerabilities that we found during your deployment time.
Nice. Sorry, Gilad, could you just zoom in slightly a little bit, just so we can see what the results are here from these things? Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, here you can see the list of vulnerabilities that we see. For each of them, you can actually dive into it and get more information around the actual vulnerability, the CVEs that it consists of, and then the actual container images that we saw this vulnerability on. You can dive into a container image, then and basically pivot that view and actually see all of the vulnerabilities we found on that specific image. And so basically get a full view of your vulnerability status on containers that were yet to be deployed to production.
Awesome, that's great. So we can really just start getting that instance, and I can set up alerts on this, for example, or I saw there was a recommendations API, right? So I can start tapping into this programmatically as well.
Yes. All of our APIs and basically all of the experiences that you see in Security Center are available through APIs, can be automated through them and consumed through them as well.
Nice, that's brilliant. This is so cool. I'm a big security nerd, so I'm loving all of this. And in this new world of DevOps or DevSecOps, which kind of leans into the pushing left mentality that you said, we speak a lot about DevOps and requiring a bunch of autonomy, giving developers autonomy within the organization. But sometimes the organization doesn't want to give that, right? And as you said at the beginning, Azure Security Center is about assessing our security posture of the cloud, right? So can Security Center help me maintain those guardrails to give my developers and my engineers as much autonomy as they need, but still have a keep my eye on the ball, what's going on.
Definitely, definitely. As part of this shift in left motion, one of the most important elements is to be able to take your security policy, which is basically the set of guardrails you want to set, and actually manage it and express it as code, and manage it as part of your repo, deploy it and check it and test it also when you are building your environment, and therefore be able to basically identify some of these misconfigurations back on the when you're actually building your environment in the get-go in your build environment. We have a few plugins and libraries as part of the Microsoft Guardian ADO plugin that are actually check for misconfigurations on your Azure configuration, Azure subscription configuration on your repo.
Nice. So that happens like right at the outset, right on the left of our pipeline, I guess.
Yes.
And
yes.
Talking about security posture and guardrails, and I guess this comes into the category of policy as code, right? I saw there was a new announcement about the Azure Security Benchmark and some functionality around that. Can you elaborate on that a little?
Yes, definitely. The Azure Security Benchmark is a very exciting initiative coming from Microsoft, which we just announced a few months ago. Now, what's unique about it is that Microsoft is basically coming to developers and to workload owners and expressing a full and comprehensive set of guidelines on how to secure a generic workload running in Azure. Now, the cool thing about it is that this is not just a specification and a document, but we're actually taking that and integrating that all the way into Security Center so that it is measured in runtime. And again, as I mentioned, using a policy can also be included as part of your coding policy, using policies as code, and can then be monitored for drift in Security Center.
Nice, that's really nice. So we can now we take this kind of framework or guidelines around how we should some kind of best practices, I guess, on our security posture in the cloud. And not only can we read that in documentation, we can now head into Azure Security Center and check that out. Are you able to show us what that looks like in Security Center?
Definitely. Let me open up Security Center. So we're going to go back to the main view. And then we're going to go back to the regulatory compliance view in Security Center, where we actually help customers to assess their runtime environment against a whole set of regulatory compliance standards such as HIPAA, ISO, NIST, etc. And here you can also find the Azure Security Benchmark, which is the framework that we were talking about so far. And what we're seeing here is basically the sets of controls, where each control breaks down to basically sub-controls, very standard to any regulatory standard. And then there is the cool thing about it: Security Center can actually map these into automatic assessment the Security Center can do using Azure policies and all kinds of internal assessments, and actually can tell you not only that you're red, for example, for this specific test, but actually how many of your servers don't meet it and how many do meet it. And when you have and then also be able to click on it and, like any other Security Center vulnerability and recommendation, take you through actually seeing the resources and all the way to actually running a remediation if you choose to do that on the spot. Basically,
nice. I must comment on
the process from monitoring to implementation. Yes.
Nice. And I must comment on that. And it's not necessarily specific for developers, but I must just say thank you to you and the team. I love the one-click remediation functionality. It makes it really easy when I see alerts within my own environment to just click that button and just quickly remediate stuff. It's not there for everything, but there's a whole ton of coverage that makes it a lot easier for that. So if you're watching this, you haven't checked that out. Yeah, it's a great feature. So before we so that's kind of how we can do policy as code and ACR for developers. But one thing that I think is really interesting and a feature that I love as well is just-in-time access. I love this because it's typically seen as an infrastructure tool, right? Because we're talking about network policy and network controls. But as an engineer and for developers, I think this actually makes a whole ton of sense as well, right? So what are your thoughts on just-in-time access for developers?
Yes, this is a very interesting control that we provide. First of all, let's go back and look at the motivation of this security control. I'm not sure many people know, but brute force attacks on network ports and management ports, or RDP and SSH ports, are one of the most popular ways to attack cloud infrastructure. This is for various reasons that differ from cloud to on-premise environments and the way perimeters are managed. And this is even more true for development environments, where oftentimes they are actually open and for RDP and SSH access for the normal operational use of the developer. Now, being such a major attack surface and something that we actually see so many attacks starting from, we wanted to create a control that can reduce the attack surface by 2 degrees of magnitude, and B, still maintain operational efficiency for the developer and operation teams. So what we basically did is enable this just-in-time capability in Security Center, which basically takes control of the networking element for accessing your management ports and just shuts down these ports for all the time in the networking layer, basically preventing any access to them and closing the attack surface. But at the same time, enabling an admin or a developer who has permissions to basically request and receive an audited and authorized and time-bound access window to a certain VM on a certain port, given the policies that was assigned. So basically, on the one hand, enable the developer to very simply unblock himself to actually access the machine, but on the other hand, de facto reaching a state where 99% of the times or the VM is not accessible from the internet, thus not accessible for these brute force attacks, which are so popular.
Yeah, and I guess they're so popular because they're so easy to find, right? You can just scan
Yes.
IP addresses for OpenSSH or RDP.
Yes.
This is as I said, it's a feature that I love. I have a number of virtual machines that I use, and hold my hands up, I've been guilty in the past for opening up SSH to do some work or something for admin and forgetting to close it down at the end. The one thing that I like is the time bound feature, right? So you can set a time limit on the amount of hours that somebody can request access for as well. And then there's an audit angle to that as well, right?
Yes, exactly. The Azure Audit Log actually audits all of these window access requests, so that whenever someone actually opens a GIT request to actually create a networking window to access a VM, we actually know who requested it, at what time, on what port, and for how long. And so that enables us to then later on actually go back and investigate and understand root causes for a breach, should that happen in that very small window, or at least kind of cross out the possibility that this was the origin of the attack.
Nice, yeah, I love that. I love SecOps and diving through some of those logs to see when these kind of activities occurred, and having that data there is super useful. Someone I was talking to your colleague Niv actually, and he described it to me as everybody in a game wants God mode, right? And we all want the same for our virtual machines, right? It's our machine, it's where we're doing our code. We want God mode, but he referred to this as just in time God mode, and I love that. I thought that this is great. It's like you can have God mode, but only when you need it.
Exactly, time bound.
That's brilliant. So for people that are watching this, developers who want to go ahead and look at pushing left and implementing Azure Security Center into that part of their development lifecycle, where would you encourage them to start?
So I would go and look at the Security Center documentation. We have tons of documentation explaining all of the scenarios available in Security Center. I would also encourage everyone to check out the GitHub community page for Security Center, where we have actually a vibrant community contributing all kinds of policies and peripheral tools to be used at scale to automate Security Center and to automate at scale operations around Security Center findings. And so I would very much encourage you to go there, leverage the tools there, and also contribute ones that you find when you find appropriate.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gilad, for joining us and sharing the insight into how a Security Center can help our developer community. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers. If you want to learn more about Azure Security Center, you can head over to aka.ms/ASC. I just absolutely love how the theme throughout all of these kind of sessions that we've been talking to various people in Microsoft today are just really helping us be open source and they're more open to the community. And it's really nice to see that every single person who spoke to said, oh, everything's on GitHub, you can check it out. And I encourage you to go ahead and do that. And I just really love seeing that kind of stuff coming in from Microsoft. I know I'm a big fan of contributing to open source, and if we can all do that together, then the world's got to be a better place. So